What would you do if the woman you gave everything for called you a failure in front of your entire family and didn't even know she was being recorded? I was alone in my hotel room, still in my blazer from a long day at the real estate conference, when my phone buzzed. A text from my cousin, Jenna. "You need to see this, I'm so sorry." Attached was a live stream link. She said she didn't realize what was being said until it was too late. I clicked it, and everything changed. There on screen was my mother sitting at our family dining table, wine glass in hand, completely unaware she was being broadcast live on the internet. "Oh, please," she scoffed, rolling her eyes. "My daughter thinks selling houses makes her successful. She couldn't hack it in nursing school. Now she's just wandering through life like a desperate failure." I froze. My chest tightened. It felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. She was talking about me, mocking me, with my aunts and uncles around her laughing, all these grand dreams about becoming a nurse, and now she just sells houses to people who actually succeeded in life. My name is Sinead Sid Sullivan. I'm 32 years old, and for the past 5 years, I've quietly paid for every one of my mother's medical bills. Nobody at that table knew the truth. When Mom was diagnosed with aggressive rheumatoid arthritis, I dropped out of nursing school. I was thriving, aced my classes, building toward a career I loved. But then came the call. Mom had collapsed at work. From that moment on, everything changed. She cried in the hospital bed, whispering, "How am I supposed to afford this?" Her insurance barely covered anything. So I stepped in. I promised I'd figure it out, that I'd take care of her. I picked up real estate because it offered flexibility and decent income. While other agents chased commissions, I was driving to her appointments, handling insurance paperwork, and covering every dime her treatments required. Her medications, her specialists, the weekly physical therapy, it added up fast. But I made it work. I worked 60-hour weeks, ate budget dinners, and emptied my savings over $100 over 5 years. And she knew, or at least I thought she did, because sometimes she'd look at me and say, "You've become so responsible." Those rare moments of gratitude kept me going, kept me hoping that deep down she appreciated what I gave up. But that live stream shattered the illusion. Remember when she dropped out of nursing school, my mom laughed on the video. She came home crying because the exams were too hard. Pathetic. I sat in silence, in my hotel room, crying. Because I hadn't dropped out, because I couldn't handle it, I left to save her. And the wine she was sipping, I bought that. For family dinners she didn't even invite me to this time. She called me a failure while living off my sacrifice. And no one at the table objected. They laughed, they nodded along. That wasn't pain talking. That wasn't old school motivation. That was betrayal, raw and deliberate. I drove home from Providence in a fog. 2 hours on the interstate, but I barely remembered the drive. All I could hear was her voice echoing in my head like a wound that wouldn't close. She doesn't have what it takes. Some people just aren't cut out for real achievement. Words she never would have dared say to my face, but happily poured out to an audience online. I hadn't told my mom I was coming back early. She thought I was still in Providence, networking and shaking hands. But I had something more important to do. Jenna texted again, "I'm at the coffee shop on Maple. Meet when you're ready." I grabbed the manila folder I'd carried for years labeled Mom Medical. Inside 5 years of meticulous records, every prescription receipt, insurance forms, bank statements, copays, specialist visits, mileage logs from doctor runs, over $120,000 in documented support, not for taxes, not for reimbursement, just so I could keep track of the life I was putting on hold. I slid into the booth across from Jenna, her oversized headphones perched around her neck and guilt written across her face. "I'm so sorry, Sid," she blurted. "I didn't know she'd say that stuff. I just thought I was filming a normal dinner." I opened the folder between us. Actually, I said quietly, "Thank you." Her eyes scanned the documents. Pages and pages. This is thousands of dollars. Over $100,000 I corrected. I put my nursing dreams, my savings, even my relationships on pause. For her. She looked up, no longer shocked. Now angry. And she calls you a failure. That's messed up. I nodded, feeling something shift in me. I'd always thought her harsh words were just pain talking, that maybe under the lectures and criticism there was pride. But that video proved it. She didn't see me at all, not as a daughter, not as a person. Jenna asked the question I hadn't even said out loud yet. So, what are you going to do? I didn't hesitate. I'm done. That afternoon, I filed the paperwork to remove myself from all of her insurance and medical accounts. No confrontation, no warning, just freedom. Then I opened my banking app. For 5 years, I'd been saving what little I could for someday for nursing school. I transferred every penny into my personal account. I've spent 5 years being her safety net, I told Jenna. That ends today. And then I showed her something I hadn't shared with anyone else. An acceptance letter. I'd been reaccepted into the nursing program months ago. I almost deferred again because of Mom's latest round of treatments. But not this time. I start in the fall, I said, and I'm not deferring again. The next morning, I didn't drive Mom to her doctor's appointment. I didn't refill her prescription. I didn't answer her calls. Instead, I sat at my dining room table, papers spread across the surface like a battlefield, and began cutting every financial tie I had to her. I called the insurance company. You want to remove yourself as guarantor on Patricia Sullivan's account? Yes, effective immediately. Her premiums will increase substantially. I understand. Please send the confirmation to her home address. The letter would arrive in a week. Just enough time to get ahead of the explosion I knew was coming. Her text started around noon. Where are you? The doctor's office says, my card got declined. Fix this now, Sinead. Are you ignoring me? Answer your damn phone. Each message only made me feel lighter, freer. I silenced the phone and turned to the next task, my family. I opened a blank email to every relative who ever commented on how strong my mom was. Every aunt, uncle, cousin who'd praised her sacrifices. Subject line, important my role in Patricia Sullivan's care. Dear family. After much reflection, I've decided to step back from managing my mother's medical care and finances. For the past 5 years, I've been solely responsible for over $120,000 in expenses, medications, insurance premiums, specialist visits, and more. Attached is a detailed record of everything I've covered, in case any of you would like to offer support going forward. This decision was not made lightly. Best Sinead, I attached the spreadsheet. No emotion, just facts. Let them see the numbers. Let them see the reality behind the woman they thought was helpless. Jenna sent me the full video later that evening, the original live stream now removed from her profile. I downloaded it. Saved 3 copies. I didn't know if I'd ever need it, but part of me wanted to. I was reviewing client files when the doorbell rang. Through the peephole, my mother face flushed, fists clenched, rage barely contained. I didn't open the door. Sinead, I know you're in there. What are you doing? You missed my appointment. My medication was denied. Open this door? I spoke calmly through the wood. You'll be getting information from the insurance company soon. I suggest you read it carefully. Silence. Then, is this about money? After everything I've done for you, I nearly laughed. Goodbye, Mom. Please don't come back. I walked away. Her voice faded behind me, and with every step I felt something fall away, like I was finally peeling off a skin that never fit me to begin with. The family reaction came fast. Group chats exploded. Aunt Maureen, I'm appalled you'd abandon your mother like this. Uncle James selfish, cruel. Cousin Thomas, sort out your petty drama in private. Only Jenna and my great-aunt Bridget responded with kindness. It takes courage to stand up for yourself, Bridget wrote. Call me if you need anything, dear. Everyone else blocked. Their silence, strangely peaceful. 3 days later, I walked across the campus of Boston City Nursing School with a backpack on my shoulder and hope in my chest. The admissions advisor raised an eyebrow as she flipped through my reactivation file. You've been out of the program for quite a while, Miss Sullivan. Yes, but I've kept studying. I'm ready. I was more than ready. The placement exam was scheduled for the following Friday. I had every old textbook bookmarked, highlighted, and worn at the edges, from late-night study sessions squeezed between open houses and insurance calls. For the first time in years, I was choosing myself. I still had my real estate business, but I scaled it back, hired Kylie, a smart college student, to handle appointments and paperwork while I focused on school. The income dip was noticeable, but so was the relief. No more surprise co-pays, no more managing someone else's crisis. My home felt quiet, my headspace even quieter. I didn't think much of the Boston Real Estate Association's annual gala. I'd ignored the event for years, too busy juggling obligations to care about networking. But when my broker nominated me for the Resilience in Real Estate Award, I was stunned. "You're a shoo-in," said my colleague Jeffrey. "You supported your mother, kept your business alive, and now you're back in nursing school." That's next-level grit. I didn't expect to win, but I went to the ceremony anyway. I bought myself a new dress. My first personal splurge in years. Navy blue. Simple. Elegant. For once, the only role I was playing was me. As the ballroom filled, my phone buzzed. Once. Then again. Then 5 missed calls from a number I didn't recognize. A text popped up. "It's Jenna. Using Uncle Patrick's phone. Emergency. Call back ASAP." My heart dropped. I stepped into the hallway and called her back. "I'm so sorry, Sid," she said. "I'm at the hospital with your mom." She collapsed. "They think it's a reaction to her new medication. She's asking for you." That familiar pressure twisted in my gut. The guilt, the fear, the reflex to drop everything. But it didn't consume me this time. "Is she stable?" "Yes, but they're keeping her overnight. Uncle Patrick is here too." The crowd in the ballroom began filing in for the awards presentation. "I'll come after the event," I said calmly. "Please tell the doctors I'll answer any questions they have tonight." Jenna hesitated. "Are you sure I'm not abandoning her?" I said. "I'm just not abandoning myself either." Back inside, the lights dimmed. The MC stepped up to the microphone, and the Resilience in Real Estate Award goes to... Sinead Sullivan. Applause erupted. Jeffrey practically shoved me out of my seat with a grin. As I walked to the stage, I felt the weight of 5 long years of sacrifice, silence, gaslighting fall behind me like a shadow that had finally lost its grip. The crystal trophy felt heavier than expected in my hands. "Thank you," I began, voice steady. "This means more than I can express." I looked out at a sea of colleagues, peers, people who only knew me as the agent who got results, not the daughter who gave up everything. Real estate isn't just about selling homes. It's about navigating chaos, adapting, finding solutions when it seems impossible. Those same skills got me through the hardest years of my life. A pause. And now I'm pursuing my original dream. I've re-enrolled in nursing school. This award isn't just about resilience in business. It's about the power to reinvent yourself at any age after any storm. Applause again, this time louder, warmer. I didn't just survive, I evolved. The hospital was quiet when I arrived. I still had my crystal trophy in my tote bag, its weight grounding me, not as a weapon, but as proof. Proof that I hadn't failed, that I'd built something real despite everything. I entered the room. My mother was sitting up in bed, alert, her hospital bracelet clinking softly as she adjusted the blanket. Uncle Patrick sat beside her. Jenna stood near the window, tense. Mom's eyes narrowed the second she saw me. "Well, nice of you to finally show up," she said, voice dripping with bitterness. "I collapsed. I could have died. And you were off partying." Uncle Patrick cleared his throat awkwardly. "The doctor said it was a mild reaction to the new meds. She's stable now." I nodded. "I'm glad to hear that." Mom looked furious at my calm tone. She wanted a fight. She wanted guilt. "This wouldn't have happened if you hadn't abandoned me. My new insurance is trash. These doctors don't understand my condition." "That must be hard," I said, adjusting to a new care team. She blinked, confused. "Is that all you have to say after everything you've put me through?" I turned to Jenna, who gave me a small nod. "It was time." "Mom," I said quietly, "for 5 years, I gave you everything. I paused my life. I funded your care. I fought insurance companies. I drove you everywhere. I put off my dreams because you needed me." Her jaw tightened. "And in return, I continued. You mocked me. On a live stream, in front of our family. You called me pathetic." Uncle Patrick looked stunned. "What live stream?" he asked. Jenna stepped forward, voice steady. "I accidentally streamed the family dinner a few months ago. I didn't mean to record it, but..." It caught everything she said. My mother paled. "That's not relevant. You're twisting things." I reached into my tote bag, pulled out the trophy, set it on the bedside table. The engraved words gleamed under the fluorescent light, "Resilience in Real Estate, Sinead Sullivan." I turned to Patrick. "I won this tonight, for running a successful business while supporting her full time." The silence in the room was thick. "I didn't come here to fight," I added. "I came because the doctors needed background. That's all." My mother looked at the trophy like it was a weapon. "You think that little award makes you better than me?" she hissed. "No," I said, "but it reminds me I'm enough, and I won't keep sacrificing my life for someone who doesn't see my worth." Patrick looked between us, finally understanding the depth of what had been hidden behind closed doors. "You really did all that he asked?" quietly. I nodded. "Everything, and more." My mother said nothing. For the first time in her life, she had no defense. As I turned to leave, I glanced back at her. She didn't ask me to stay. She didn't apologize, but she didn't insult me either. Maybe that silence was the closest she could come to acknowledgement. "Jenna," I said, "want to ride home?" She nodded quickly, grateful. As we walked down the hallway, I felt the tightness in my chest loosen, like I could finally exhale. I hadn't just stood up to my mother, I had stood up for myself. 3 months later, I stood at the foot of a hospital bed, not as a visitor, but as a nurse in training. My hands were steady, my voice calm. "IV secured," I said to my instructor, who gave an approving nod. I was exactly where I was meant to be. After my shift, I walked to my car, textbooks in my passenger seat, clipboard tucked under my arm. My phone buzzed. A message from Jenna Prof interview going viral, 20K views already. Last week, the Boston Medical Journal had profiled a group of career changers entering healthcare. I'd shared my story, real estate agent turned nursing student blending business acumen with empathy and grit. Both careers require trust communication and the ability to guide people through transitions, I'd told the reporter. But nursing taught me something even more important, how to protect your boundaries without losing your compassion. As I smiled at the memory, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Sinead, it's Patrick." My uncle's voice was hesitant. I saw the interview. It was inspiring. I didn't expect that. "Thank you," I said softly. He continued slowly. "Your mother saw it too. She didn't say much, but I think it hit her. Seeing you in that uniform, realizing you really are doing it." He paused. "I just wanted to say I'm proud of you, and I'm sorry I didn't see it all sooner." I blinked back tears. "Thank you, Patrick. That means a lot." When we hung up, I sat in the car for a while. I didn't need his validation. Not anymore. But it felt good. Not because it changed who I was, but because it confirmed who I'd become. In my living room, the Real Estate Award trophy still sat on the mantel. Next to it, my nursing textbooks, a folded copy of my acceptance letter, and a stethoscope I'd bought with my first scholarship check. My mother and I hadn't spoken since that night in the hospital, and maybe we never would. But I'd stopped needing apologies from people who couldn't give them. I found closure in my own success, my own peace, my own purpose. I had clients to serve, patients to heal, a life to live that belonged entirely to me, and that was the victory I'd waited for all along. Have you ever given your all to someone only to be left behind when it mattered most? Tell your story in the comments. Hit like if you've ever had to reclaim your voice. And don't forget to subscribe for more true stories of betrayal, resilience, and powerful comebacks. This is Sinead's story, but it could be any of ours. Because sometimes the best way to heal is to walk away.